Meanwhile, Elise jumps off of Eggman's ship and Sonic catches her, so Eggman gets Iblis triggered and summons the Egg Genesis. More robots are out to get them, so they just run into the jungle. And after they're done, Sonic takes Elise back to the castle and Eggman wants her to give herself up ASAP, or else he's blowing the place to Kingdom Come. So of course, she listens to him. Let's get back to something that won't make me rage because someone doesn't know how to protect themselves. Shadow leaves the scepter behind. They both use Chaos Control to get out of there, but Silver gives Elise his blue Chaos Emerald, which explains why she has it in the beginning of the game. Then Silver leaves too. When Shadow returns, Roots tells him that Omega is still looking for Mephiles, and Shadow tells Roots to look at GUN's database and find out what the Scepter of Darkness was made of. When Silver comes back, he tells Blaze that Sonic isn't the Iblis trigger. Blaze informs him about Elise surrendering herself to Eggman, and that's when Silver realizes that his plan is to release Iblis. The gang finds Omega, who shot down Mephiles, but he just laughs it off and teleports away. Omega tells Shadow that he's the one who defeats and seals him in the future, and Shadow is a bit devastated by this, so he storms off. But Rouge tells him that no matter what happens, she'll always be by his side. I'm the same, actually. So what if his performance in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was pretty awful? I'm expecting him to get good writing in Sonic Forces. I just hope that Kirk Thornton stops voicing him. A random guy I see in YouTube comments and in the Sonic community named Excalibur64 says that he just needs better voice directing, which I agree on some aspects, but I'd rather the guy get fired from Shadow. Get Jason or David back. None of this, "You got this, Sonic," trash. I don't know why I went off about that, but let's keep going. Sonic is headed towards the egg carrier, but he's interrupted by some robots, which Silver defeats for him, and he tells Sonic that things have changed, and he would like to help him rescue Elise. Eggman's ship is about to crash.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
And after the best level in the game, that being Kingdom Valley, Eggman's ship does actually crash. So Sonic travels back to an earlier point in time, and Sonic gives Silver his emerald, and then he takes off. But Silver and Blaze return to their future. I have a theory related to this coming soon, but until then, enjoy the rest of the review. Sonic boards Eggman's ship, takes him down, grabs Elise, and they bail. That wraps up Sonic's story. Silver and Blaze head to defeat Iblis again, and after doing so, Silver attempts to seal Iblis inside of him, but it's no use, and Blaze tries it. She tells him to seal her into a different dimension, but Silver won't do that because they're friends. You know what, Silver? I think you have a thing for Blaze. She then disappears, and the future is back to normal. R.I.P. Blaze, press U to pay respects. And that's Silver's story. Team Dark now goes to the desert to finish Mephiles one final time. When they find him, Mephiles tries to tell him that it's not too late to be evil, but of course Shadow says no. Because, come on, do you think your Shakespeare will work a second time? After defeating Mephiles, Shadow tries to seal him again, but it doesn't work, and Mephiles uses his Chaos Emeralds to summon 1,000,000 clones of himself. He taunts him, saying that he can't stop him with his limited power, so Shadow is just thinking, limited power? Exactly! I'll take my power inhibitors off. He did this once in an episode of Sonic X. Ah, take that, I know more than you do, Clement! Anyway, he removes his power inhibitors and takes out all the Mephiles clones, which wraps up Shadow's story. But things don't end there. There's one final story after completing the main ones, so let's see how it all unfolds. Shadow puts his rings back on, but something is up with the Chaos Emerald, and it turns out Mephiles is still on the loose. Sonic and Elise are just happily strolling in the forest again, but Mephiles uses a Chaos Emerald to distract him and shoot him from behind. The body count is now at 3. First the Duke of Soliana, then Blaze, now Sonic. Sonic's death causes a lucid cry, causing Iblis to be released. So Mephiles somehow gets all 7 emeralds, joins with Iblis, and puts the world into a big empty void. Elise feels Sonic's presence in the wind, so the gang split up to find Chaos Emeralds in the worst final level in the entire franchise. After getting all the emeralds, Elise surrounds Sonic with them, and then... Sonic then comes back as Super Sonic, shares his power with the others, and defeats Solaris. Then Elise blows out the flame, causing all of this to be erased, so I'm wasting my time with this review, because none of it ever happened. I've been talking about the story for God knows how long, and it just never happened. And we still have gameplay to talk about. So, how do I feel about the story? Well, I do think it's a good story aside from Sonic's because it's the same thing over and over and over again, but I think it can be enjoyed if you don't think about it. I do feel like some people go a little overboard with the story. Like, a good example is the wave ocean level. People complain about Tails pushing a switch so that the gate closes on the whale and Sonic jumps over the gate. I mean, who cares? It doesn't contribute to the story at all, so what's the point of complaining about it? The acting is good. Sure, it's not the best in the series, but it's not the worst either. Jason is my favorite Shadow, and this is the best that he's done. He's also my favorite Sonic, and Jason is mediocre in 06. It could just be the lines that he got, but he has better in Unleashed and Black Knight. Some other voices are really good, such as Eggman, Elise, Silver, Amy, Blaze, and Mephiles. Everyone else is okay, but that doesn't mean they did bad. The only voice that I disliked is Omega, but I already talked about that. The lip syncing has been improved. Obviously in SA1 we got, well, I played the clip already. In SA2 it was matched with the Japanese dialogue, despite the script being written in English, and in Heroes they finally matched it with the English dialogue. But in certain cutscenes it looked a little off, but not too noticeable. And in Shadow, I think it was matched with the Japanese dialogue. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I really hate the story of that game. It's just so inconsistent, and what was even the point? In 06, it's matched with the English sync again, and it looks great. There's really only about 3 times in the game where the mouse movement is off, but for a game with a million cutscenes, that's actually pretty good. I'll talk about the gameplay in the next part, but until then, I hope that you enjoyed what I had to say about the story. And Omega's voice in Shadow was a great sound-alike, that it makes me wonder why they didn't keep saying San.